Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Greider. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. We are in almost the last week of June. My goodness, the month has gone by so quickly. And we have been focusing on how do we show up purposely, powerfully in our life? How are we choosing to shine? Are we choosing to shine? Are we operating in autopilot and kind of going on to the next thing? Are we being mindful and purposeful in how we are choosing to be, what we're spending our time and our energy on, and how we're focusing our purpose? Because every day, the way we spend our time, the choices we make, how we spend our energy adds up to our week, adds up to our month, adds up to our year, and adds up to our life. So the way we are choosing to be on a daily basis really matters. So I'm really excited to have a powerful conversation today with an amazing author of a book. It was just recently released called Living Up to Your Eulogy. What a powerful perspective and title and way to start thinking about your life and looking at it. So I'm really excited to have you joining us. I'm looking forward to the conversation. And here's a moment for us to be still, to be fully present. I'm so honored that you're leaning in, you're tuning into the conversation today, and I want you to be able to get the most out of it. So choose to be fully present, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Choose to be open to receive, because I know there's something here for you by the very nature that you're tuning in today. And I had a poem I wanted to share with you. So as you're pausing, slowing down, becoming fully present, taking those deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, that lowers our stress levels, our cortisol levels. It brings oxygen and air to every cell in our body so that we can be open, ready to receive. We slow down enough that we can listen and hear. And as you're doing that, becoming present and opening up to receive, I wanted to share a poem with you today. It's called 1,000 Small Cuts, was written by Sam Yao. You can find his poem and poetry on samyaopoetry.com. And I love the perspective in this poem of how we might be looking at things that hurt, and the kindness we need to remember to extend to ourselves and others, and how much that matters. So here's the poem by Sam Yao. 1,000 Small Cuts. You can't recall a single major traumatic event, but you've suffered small but recurrent hurts, inflicted by those closest to you over many years. You'd walk in a room and feel invisible, your enthusiasm negated, your idea brushed off and called clueless. No one to talk to, no one cares, trapped. Small, unhealed injuries snowball into a debilitating wound. It gnaws at your self-worth and depletes your life force. The world feels unsafe and you become a loner. Your pain body unlivable. Bit by bit, your soul leaves. Your eyes look vacant. Nothing is pleasurable. A chunk of your life has vanished from memory. 1,000 small cuts needs 1,000 doses of kindness to heal. Open your heart. Be vulnerable. Share your life with friends, new and old. Look for beauty. Love's favorite place to indwell. Your favorite things will come to life and return your caring vibes. Propagate your love, for it boomerangs, multiplies, and heals you at the root. Take a moment, breathe that in, And are you remembering to be kind to yourself, to lean in, to connect fully, to share, to encourage, to live on purpose and with purpose, to release those 1,000 cuts sometimes that we can carry with us, to release them and allow healing in your life. And not only that, but to really lean into living mindfully and purposely every single day, because it matters. And if we take a moment to stop and look back from the grave, we look back. How are we choosing to live to bring forward those things that matter most to us? So let's take a moment. Close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Put both hands on your heart. Breathe as you feel the heart beat. And in between the beats, breathe and listen and ask, what is it you need today to encourage you, to support you, to empower and uplift you today? What do you need real time that you are ready and willing to receive? Because you have choice. What do you need today and are open to receiving? Beautiful. Receive that information, that reminder, that encouragement. Take a moment, another deep breath. Lots of breath today. Come back into the room. Beautiful, eyes open, fully present. Take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart, so you can stop it from swirling around in you, but actually start to bring it forward into reality and interact with it. Keep it top of mind. You don't have to figure out the how, because that will fall into place. But it's leaning in, being clear on what it is you need, and you're actually open to the wonderful and amazing way that need will be met, because you're now watching for it, open and excited to the wonderful and unexpected way that need will move forward. The answers will come, support will come, and you are open, ready, and willing to receive. Beautiful. So we're going to go around our virtual room here, and as we do that, I'm going to invite our first guest, our amazing guest, I should say, to share what was laid on his heart when he took just a moment to pause and breathe, if there was something that spoke to him, to share with us today. So with that, Jeff, welcome, and I'd love for you to share what was laid on your heart.
Oh, Rebecca, let's see. What would be laying on my heart? Actually, it's almost a year when I had my mother pass. But she was with me and my brothers here at my home. And we celebrated her life, though. She 90 years, great life, and she even died with class. But she's always on my mind, as obviously my dad was as well. But especially right now, it would be my mother, and that was what was on my heart.
Thank you for sharing, and we just tap into that and that love and celebrate that she had such a beautiful, positive, powerful life, and that those final days that she got to spend with you and surrounded by love, and that's just such a beautiful gift, and even with class, that's so beautiful. So thank you for sharing that with us today. And those of you listening, I want to encourage you to really feel into what is being laid on your heart as we come together and we connect heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Really take a moment to feel that support, that connection, that love. And as we go to our first commercial break, here's an opportunity for you to continue to connect in and listen, and we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit samyaupoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, poetry.com.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall-Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that time, those 2 minutes to be still and really listen and hear what is being laid on your heart and on your spirit. I'm just so honored to spend this time with you together today, and I wanted to share a little bit more about Jeff. You got to hear some from the heart in our opening segment, and I wanted to give just a little bit more of his background so that you know more about him for our conversation. So Jeff Drew is an award-winning international speaker, an international best-selling author, has founded the Thanking Our First Responders program in St. Louis, Missouri, and is currently expanding it to a national level. So excited to see that. He is the director of PGA Reach and co-author of the international best-selling book, Living Up to Your Eulogy. Welcome officially, Jeff Drew, the powerful and dynamic author and speaker. We are just thrilled to welcome you to our stage. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. I don't know if I'm going to do my best to live up to those adjectives, but I do want to quickly add that two real key cohorts here from Bodily Creation, Dave and Stu Clark, were instrumental in getting this book completed, so could not have done it without either one of them. They had both the intelligence and the creativity that I needed to make this complete. So, yes, and we're very, oh my gosh, we're over the moon in how well it's been received.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited. I'm thrilled to have you joining us today and representing all of the powerful authors of this book and bringing it forward. And actually, I have a question about that because I love what you just mentioned, sharing what they together kind of were able to bring to the table that you needed. And I think it's so beautiful when we show people coming together, working collaboratively, everybody getting to shine and create and bring something powerful forward. Do you mind sharing a little bit of what that experience was like?
Excellent. No, David and Stu, and actually, especially David, has been a lifelong friend since I was just in high school. And we always we made a point that their father had lunch with my father all the time, Gaither Clark and Charlie Drew. So David and I decided we would continue that tradition, and so we've had ever since I started my professional career, whenever I was in town or had a moment, I would always call David, and we'd all have lunch together. And that's where the seeds began for this book. And actually, this is about a 5-year arrangement to put this all together. But we've been doing this for past, I would say, 40 years together. So if Stuart lived here in Missouri, he would be part of that, but he's Louisiana. But that is truly what made this book so enjoyable, is when you can just have lunch with your best friend and just talk about different discussions and ideas. It makes it so much fun. And we never told anybody that we were putting this book together. We knew that so many people talk about writing a book and never actually finish through and or follow through. We decided we're not going to say a word until we knew this would be in print and put out. And now we're telling the world, and you're our voice piece. You're our biggest one so far, Rebecca. So we're excited. But
thank you.
No, it's been a labor of love.
I love that. And how special. I mean, not only to have a friendship and relationship like that through so many years, and even multi-generational, it sounds like, that the seeds were planted.
Yeah, exactly. Generational. No, definitely.
Yeah, that's powerful.
No, and it got us discussing, what really would people remember us by. And I always make a joke when I'm on a flight. I always look around and I go, oh, my God, if this flight goes down, who's going to get the headline? I'm not going to win anything here. It's just going to be Jeff and the crowd. So we've got to leave a little bigger mark. And, of course, you do it day by day, but why don't we just write a book and remind everybody there's uplifting, inspirational stories out there, and that's what we've done, and especially with quotations on, just advice to live by or acts of kindness and lives well lived.
Thank you for sharing. I love that. It's uplifting. And I think sometimes when we think about no longer being here, sometimes we start to feel heavy or discouraged, or we don't want to talk about or think about it. And I love the perspective and spin, in a sense, that you have all brought to it to make it something to really look at. What is that mark? What is the imprint we are making? If today were our last day, how are we showing up? And how are we? Well
said.
Yeah, bringing things forward. So, go ahead.
Are you living the kind of life you want to live? I mean, what kind of legacy are you going to be leaving? And this is our opportunity. This is your script right now. You're in that moment, as you stated earlier, day by day, hour by hour, and it just grows to years by years. So. We're just trying to encourage you to reflect on the path of your life and provide what we think are heartening examples of a way to live that life that you'll remember.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I love that it's come from such a deep relationship and friendship and real desire to help all of us live purposely and mindfully, and to kind of prioritize and remember what matters and what we're creating and building and leaving behind, I think is so important. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the book, Living Up to Your Eulogy. I'd love to know how the title was decided and who you feel this book is for.
First of all, I know this would be the first question that everybody always asks, really, who is this book for, and what made you come about thinking about it? And what happened with me was I was at a funeral, and several of them, and I kept hearing things that I could not believe this person had done in their real life. And I go, oh my gosh, you were in the Battle of the Bulge, or she was ahead of this fantastic charity, and she never talked about it, or he never, and I go, oh my gosh, you would learn so much about the person after they passed. And I thought, oh my gosh, we've got to come up and see if we're really living up to our eulogy, or as many people say, are you just living up to your resume? And that's what really inspired me to come up with that title, is just take it to the next step. And the book is for whoever thinks they're going to die at some point. I mean, it can be enjoyed by adults of all ages, young and old. But honestly, this is for everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I think that is something. I mean, we're not going to be here forever. So
right. Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. And I know I often, I'm a planner. So I plan ahead and I'm planning on being here, and I have all these things that I want to move forward or build or do or create. But I also know tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I know I have today. I know I have this moment. And so I'm very mindful and purposeful about that. When I have a conversation with somebody, I may know this may be our conversation. So how am I showing up? How am I serving and contributing if this is our last conversation? I hope it is, and I hope we have many, many more, and I'm planning on it. But if this is our moment, I want it to be impactful. I want to show up in a way that serves. And I'd love to know how do you do that yourself in your daily walk to really live up to your eulogy on a daily basis?
I actually, and it's a little different, I don't know why, but I get the happiest if I do something well for someone else. Not necessarily for me, and I don't want to sound Pollyanna because I'm not, but if when I see a mail carrier, I always send them over to Starbucks and say, listen, get yourself a drink. Or if there's any little thing I can do that would make an impression on that person for that moment, for that day, that thrills me. I just get excited about it. And it did lead me to what you were talking about earlier, thanking our first responders. These are people that mean so much to all of us. I always also say, there's always a thin blue line in our lives. And if I can do something to lift up their day and make it better, it's going to help all of us.
Yes.
Because they're there for us. And, so there's a local deli here named Pratzel's, right nearby where I live, and the owner is named Max, and he's just the most generous guy. So he gives me a very good deal on his meals or food. So anytime first responder walks in, which might mostly be police, and firemen, whomever, they know the meal is taken care of. They can just do that. But I have no idea, which ones are doing it or who they are, but I know that it touched them for that moment. Even if they don't think about it, I know it's made their day a little bit better, and that excites me. So I'm very fortunate that I can even do it. I feel blessed that I get an opportunity to do it.
Thank you for sharing. I love that. These taking that time to acknowledge, lift up, to support, to build that into your daily, weekly life is so powerful and meaningful. And I think sometimes we think it has to be these really big things, and we forget it's the everyday things that we can do, make a difference too, and matter. So thank you for sharing some of the things you're doing and a little bit about the first responders program that you've brought forward too. So that's exciting.
And you reminded me, Rebecca, there's a variety of different inspirational stories, but one of my favorites that ties into what you stated is when a professor was giving one of his final exams, and it was a tough one. And the very last question was, could you please put down the name of our cleaning lady who comes in here every day when class breaks up, and just list her name. And this students go, oh, no, wait, this is not going to count on the test. And he goes, no, if you don't know it, you're going to get demoted. And only one person did know it. And that always reminded me, I used to think when I used to sit in various offices, and if you had to you work overtime all the time, and you do see different variety of people come through, I always remember that story, and always try to make sure that you got to know them and understood what their life was and where they were going. Just little things like that can make such a big difference to that person. And
absolutely,
that's something I'm always thinking about.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that story from the book as well. And what a reminder to be aware and appreciative of those around us, and connecting, really seeing and appreciating them. That's so powerful. And I think we forget that in the busyness sometimes. So thank you. What a gem we are already getting. in our discussion on ways that we can live up to our eulogy, that we can really live on purpose and with purpose. And I would love for you to take a moment and describe the cover. I was thinking we might have visual people in our listening audience that don't have your book, that it would be great for them to know what the cover looks like and maybe why it was designed that way.
Sure. Again, the Clark boys, I give a lot of credit for this one. They came up, it's a pulpit, but it really a speaker stand with two microphones protruding out, and then the title our book, Living Up to Your Eulogy, with a halo right over the word up. And this just is where we really thought would introduce the book the best way. And I do a lot of professional speaking, or I did. I don't do as much right now, but I used to go all over the world. And I always recall that these are supposedly inspirational stories and things that would advise to live by, and that is what I think of when I see a podium, and that's how we actually broke up the book. I mean, starting with advice to live by, and acts of kindness, and lives well lived, and this is where you would say it from the pulpit. Beautiful.
And the color background, do you mind sharing that too? And
thank you. I'm sorry, light blue. Yes. Yeah. The stand is in white, and the background is a blue color, and it like the sky. It's just it's cobalt blue. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. When I see it, to me, it seems like a happy cover, which I like.
It's a happy, right? Exactly. Thank you, because we don't want to think that. We don't want to be thinking about death. We're thinking about living and living to the most of your life. That's what we're doing. I mean, you're right. There's always going to be an ending chapter, but what do we get between in those pages that make that chapter come alive? And that's what this book will do. So when you go to bed at night, now this will be the paperback actually came out today on Amazon, just so you know.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Yes, the paperback is out today. The ebook was initial, and that's where we were fortunate enough to get the international best-selling, and also in the USA. Now we want to graduate to the paperback, and then the hardback is July 1st, which will make it really fun, because that's something I want you to be able to put in your hands, and you're just sitting back in your bed, and you can read just as many pages as you want, but we're going to make it hard for you to put down. You're going to keep going, okay, I'm not putting this down yet. And so it's really, in Rebecca, it's very easy to find, because on Amazon you just search for Living Up to Your Eulogy, or you just go to livinguptoyoureulogy.com, and that link will lead you to Amazon. But that's my dream, and for both Dave and Stu, is that you'll just, when you grab this book, you really will say, I'm just going to read a couple pages, and we're going to try to make each story so inspiring. You're going to go, no, I got to keep going.
One more.
Yeah, one more, please, one more. But that's the goal, and we're going to do our best to accomplish that.
So, but thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I'm very excited for our listeners to be able to now get the paperback as well, because that's available now on Amazon. They can look it up and get their own copy today, and the hardback is coming out soon. So something to look forward to and lean into. And I also like on the cover how the halo is at an angle. So to me, the whole cover is happy, and it's bright, and it's positive, even though it's really looking at subjects that are deep and living in a mindful, purposeful way. And I love that intention that you want people to not want to put it down. Like they keep being encouraged and inspired and want to read the next story. So what a beautiful intention to create and bring forward in your book. I'm very excited about that. And your book became an international best-selling book in under 24 hours, and #1 in the U.S. I mean, it was just so powerfully received, so quickly received. And I was curious what that felt like when that happened, that the day of the launch, and leaning in. What was that like for you, for all of you? If you want to speak for you or for the group.
For me, the Clarks are already authors. They probably are used to this, but for me, it was astounding. And of course, I wanted to make sure it was the right book. Did they really have is that our book, Living Up? Yes, great. It was thrilling. I mean, now in this stage of my life, anytime you have any kind of major accomplishments, it excites the heck out of you. It used to be, your biggest cheerleaders are always your parents. My mom would, no matter what I told her, even if I had a bad golf game, she would act interested, even though I know she wasn't. It's when you get something like this, you go, oh my gosh, who am I going to tell? Well, actually, Rebecca, you get to be the one to tell, because this is the first opportunity we've had to really share it with the world. And can I just throw in a quick Rebecca story that happened to me?
Sure.
So I know you're going, wait a minute. You have a huge fan, Anastasia Schuster. That name, I don't know if it rings a bell, but she's in Portland now. And, oh my gosh, when I told her I was going to be interviewed with you, she just went through the roof saying, Rebecca's the best. You have no idea. Worked with her. She's worked with you on other authors. So I thought, all right, so all the stars are lining up correctly. So I said, this is great. So that's what's exciting about the book.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know that connection had happened. So that's neat to know that, Stara.
It happened just the other day. But we are, I would have to say, Rebecca, if you saw in the back of the book, we have 3 different really big personalities that gave us, oh my gosh, great endorsements. And the only one that might be known coast to coast is the Ozzie Smith, who he's a baseball Hall of Famer, played for the Cardinals, started out with San Diego, but we were very fortunate to get him. And I work with him on PGA Reach, which you had mentioned earlier, which is really working with the inner city kids, and we're not teaching them really how to play golf as much as the ethics of golf and what it really means to not cheat or lie or steal or anything. How we do it on the golf course, we try to tell them you can put this in real life. And Ozzie's the real deal. He gets his hands dirty. He gets in there with me. He really goes with me when we go to the boys' club or wherever we're headed. He's right there. But I was so impressed with what he read, and when he stated it touched his heart, it touches your soul and emotions, that is the human spirit, and it's just the guide for living. And for him to say it was mandatory reading, I think, okay, that means everybody is going to buy. That was his.
Ozzie says so.
Yeah, Ozzie says so. I thought, all right, now they're going to line up. They're going to love it. And so, and the other 2 were key players for us. Charlie Brennan. Locally here, we have a station called KMOX, which actually is huge. And I would say it's one of the larger stations in the Midwest. Covers the Cardinal baseball. And Charlie is their number 1 host in the morning, and he just said it was a playbook where we need to make this world a better place. And the timing is perfect and uplifting, and more important, a must book to read. But I know people, when you're asking to endorse it, are going to say whatever you really love for them to say. But these players, really, I mean, Charlie, Ozzie, and Frank. Frank was my boss. He's the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line. He was instrumental in my life, and he started a cruise line called Oceanic Cruise Line that did quite well. And he really put it in as a book of recipes on how to best live your life. And he said, I'm living my life differently now, all for the better, ever since I've read it. So those are endorsements that we just couldn't pay for. We really sort of appreciate, came off the page.
Thank you for sharing. Just so powerful. And I love how deeply your book has been received already, that people are leaning in. And I'm excited to share. It looks like we have Stuart joining us. So we are going to go to our next commercial break. So listeners, that's a cliffhanger. You're going to get to meet Stuart too. So as we go to our next commercial break, this is an opportunity for all of you to just take a moment, pause, take in all all that Jeff has been sharing. If you want to go grab a copy, it is now available on paperback and in Kindle on Amazon, or you can make a note to do that later. And we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall-Griter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. It's time to serve, learn, change the world. Tune in each week for The Power of Young People to Change the World, hosted by NYLC CEO Amy Mewers. The program is a forum for both young people and the adults who love and support them. We make connections with others through stories of change, partnership, and new perspectives of issues facing the world today. Be sure to join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time, or anytime on demand on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Griter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to process, be still, really receive everything that is speaking to your heart and spirit, and perhaps some of the stories that have been shared or the insights as we've been talking with Jeff Drew have just touched your heart and spirit. And it's great to take a moment to process, take down a couple notes to be able to take that information, that insight with you as you go forward and back out into the world. And just before our break, I mentioned we have Stuart on hold. So Stuart Clark is one of the authors of this book. So I'm excited. The airlines cooperated, so we're able to have him join us in the conversation today. So I'm thrilled to have him calling in and joining the conversation. And Stuart, I wanted you to have a moment to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. It's great to be with you all. I am one of the 3 authors, as you have said, and I'm calling from my hometown of Lafayette, Louisiana, down here in Cajun country. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, where Jeff and my brother David, the other author of our book, are from, and I'm down in Louisiana for now a little bit, close to 50 years. So I'm married to my amazing wife, Ann, for 46 years, and we have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and just so blessed. And again, I'm enjoying your show. And Jeff, doing well, buddy. Doing well.
Oh, thank you, Stuart. God, that's great. I didn't know you were married. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I didn't tell you that, did I? We've known each other for how long? I forgot to tell you that. Yeah.
Oh, a long God. No, 50 years. No, that's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. And I'm smiling here because listeners, I had the opportunity to work with all the authors as we were getting ready for the launch and to share out in the world. And every conversation was like this. I loved it. You guys have such a beautiful friendship and joy in connecting. It came through in every conversation, that playfulness and that just kind of connecting and enjoying the connection with each other. So I think that's really special. I love it.
Yes, Jeff described it very well. We've known, families have known each other for, as long as I've been alive, and we've had a really good journey to the last 3 years putting this book together, Rebecca, and it's been fun. It's been fun, very enjoyable.
Beautiful. And I'd love for you to share. I talked with Jeff about this a little bit earlier about, bringing the book forward and some of what it was like to have it received. He was sharing some of the amazing reviews and endorsements that are on the back of the book. And I'm curious for you, in your perspective, when the book was launched and it became a #1 bestseller in the U.S., it became an international bestseller in over 21. To make sure I'm accurate, 21 categories, best-selling categories in less than 24 hours. What was that like for you?
Well, I have, first of all, thank you. You helped your big push behind it and got us out there, and we gathered all our efforts together, and it worked out very well. I was just really pleasantly surprised to see how fast the orders came in, and very, very pleased, very excited about it, Rebecca. Again, thank you for your help in this.
Oh, you're welcome. It's just been a joy and a pleasure, and I'm so glad that it was just received so beautifully and powerfully. And I was wondering, Jeff described the cover a little bit and shared some of the audience about that this book is for and the vision of it. And I wanted to see if you had some thoughts around that too, of what either there's a special story that just comes to your heart and mind as we're talking today, you'd like to share from the book, or something on the journey that surprised you in bringing the book forward.
Well, as I've gone into these later years, I'm in my late 60s now. You see that you have a little bit less of your life than you've had left over, and you start. Sometimes I think, you wish you had done things a little bit differently, and been a better person, been a better version of yourself along the way. But, it's always some reason. But I just know there are a multitude of people out there that kind of feel the same way, that they want to be a better version of themselves, and they just need a little inspiration getting there. And for many years now, I've collected many of these passages, quotations, and stories that really touch my heart, and I've saved them. I have them. I'm at a desk right now, which I have several of these cut out and put these quotations so I could look at them through the day, and so it's collaborative effort. We said let's put a book together with some of these inspirational stories and quotations and some of the best words ever written. Rebecca, I think, that I've taken and David and Jeff have put together. So there's really a heartwarming story. I think I like one of the quotes here. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. And that's a good one. I like that one a lot. That's just one of them, and that says it all, how to live your life. Just live for others. Put them first. Beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I know that you were able to call in today. We weren't sure that you would be able to, so I'm so honored that you were able to, and the schedule worked. Is there something on your heart and mind that you wanted to make sure that you shared with listeners today as you were calling in? I was wondering if something was placed on your heart to share.
Well, I just hope this book if they get the book, I just hope it does give them some kind of inspiration, some kind of lift or boost to again use the term, make a better version of themselves. Life is short. It's sometimes a lot shorter than we think it's going to be. We never know when we're our last day here is on Earth. So the time is now to try to be a better person and try to be a more giving, kinder person, more thankful for the things we have. So that's it. It's just time is short, and we have to realize that. And that's what I think I'd like to pass on.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. And
you're very welcome, and I'll let you continue with my good friend Jeff. Thank you very much again, Rebecca. Enjoying your show. God bless.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for calling in, Stuart. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
God bless you too.
Stuart, go back to your marriage. Thank you.
Well, Jeff, I wanted to, I've been thinking about something you said behind the scenes to me when we were on one of the commercial breaks. And we were reflecting on the opening segment and how your mom kind of came to your heart when we took that moment to just kind of pause and listen, and that reminded you of something in the book. And so I wanted to circle back and have you share a little bit about that. I think it was called the Gab Ride.
The Cab Ride.
Cab Ride. Oh, that makes more sense. Cab Ride. Thank you.
You have a lot thrown at you. The Cab Ride by Kent Nurburn. Excellent story. One that I found and shared it with Stu and Dave and said that this reminded me so much of when I did pick up my mother for the last time from their senior center called the Gatesworth here in St. Louis, and you almost knew it would be her last time she might be in a car. And even though I'm taking her to my place, you're overcome with emotion at the time, but you don't want to play your card in front of your mother. You just to ask her where she would like to go and anything she wants to see before we arrive home. And this is exactly what happened here in this portion of the book called The Cab Ride, and where a woman is picked up by a cabbie, and the cabbie does an amazing job of telling what went through his mind and how he perceived the situation. That will just it's so emotional for me, actually, Rebecca, when I couldn't even read it to my brother. I was trying to read it to him and I cried, and I thought, oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? But it's actually that powerful and it's just 4 pages, but it's just how a woman in her last moments, actually in this cab before he drops her off at the daughter's place. And I don't want to give away the story, but it's so well done and so well written and very emotional. But it happens day in and day out, Rebecca. It happens all the time. Obviously, a lot of people don't realize it's the last ride, but it makes you really think and appreciate. And it's just one of those things that are like sliding doors that goes throughout your life.
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you for sharing and not giving it completely away.
I'm not going to give it away because to me it's one of the really emotional ones. And we have there are stories in here that are going to make you laugh, and then there are stories in here, or even on Bear Bryant, that you go, what? I didn't know that about Bear Bryant. Or I have one of other favorite ones of mine are these 2 Cherokees. One being a grandfather and one with his grandson, and the lesson that he gives to his grandson. Oh my gosh! And I give Stuart credit there. He did. Everybody says Dave and I always say, well, the internet helps, but really Stuart is like the internet. He had all these stories, things that he had been saving and keeping, and you go, oh my gosh, that's so great. We can share that collection with people.
Oh, so beautiful. And what a powerful collection to have brought together to really encourage us, touch our hearts, our spirits, and support us in living purposely, mindfully every day, and recognizing some days, if this is our last cab ride together, what are we choosing to look at and see, and our perspective and all of that. So just super, super powerful, meaningful. I'm excited about your book and its success, and now already available in print and hard copy to come. I would love for you to share again where listeners can get their copy of the book and your contact information, ways that people can connect with you and go deeper.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. Yes, first of all, if you go on Amazon, you just search for Living Up to Your Eulogy. Or if you'd like, you can just go to put in livinguptoyoureulogy.com, and then you'll see a link that will take you right to Amazon.
Perfect.
And those are, yes. And I say, as you already mentioned again, the paperback comes out today, and I think that's going for like $22. But the hardback is coming right behind it, and I'm pretty sure I'm all right on this. July 1st is what we're expecting Amazon to cover on that one. So
wonderful. And then what's the way they can connect with you and go deeper? They might want to get involved in some of your programs.
Connect with me at, thank you, jeffdrew53@yahoo.com.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing and joining us today. I so appreciate it. Stuart, thank you for calling in and joining us today. That was a wonderful surprise. So we're excited you were able to join us. And listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening, really taking time to connect today as we look at how are we living up to our eulogy? How are we making choices on how we're being, how we're showing up, who we're choosing to be each and every day of our life and moment by moment. And I love the concept of the book because I feel like Jeff was talking about this earlier, page by page, that we can't put the book down as we are getting pulled in. And the next piece of inspiration, the next piece, well, what if we could live our life that way too? And Stuart saying that, we can become a better version of ourselves. Well, guess what? Every page turn, every moment, we get to start again. We get to give grace, compassion to ourselves. We get to know more and learn and know better and do better. We get to choose every day to write another page in our life. And we can flip the page and start a new page and decide where our journey is going, where that story is going. We get to choose how we're going to live our life, how we're going to live up to our eulogy. So I want to encourage you to every day remember that we get to start again. There's a quote I like from Anne of Green Gables. It was a movie series and a book series that was out, and I think it became a television series as well. But one of the characters, Anne, says, she likes every day is a new day with no mistakes in it. And I love that every day we can give ourselves grace and we can extend it to others and we can choose how we are now going to be, what we're going to do as we step forward and live on purpose and with purpose, because each of you are a gift. You're absolutely needed in this world. In fact, for such a time as this. And one of the biggest gifts you can give the world is more of you sharing your gifts, your talents, your perspective, your abilities out in the world, shining and sharing them out. So I want to encourage you as you get ready to go back out into the world, take a couple moments to really take in the information that was shared today. Breathe in what serves, release what no longer does, and then choose your next steps mindfully and purposely. And I look forward to seeing you bloom and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Griter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.